Hi, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you 3 reasons why dating Mr. Wrong, dating the wrong guy, actually helps you magnetize and attract your ideal partner, i.e. Mr. Right. No, don't sound crazy, but hear me out. This video is gonna help you enjoy dating more, enjoy the process, and actually speed up the rate at which you create the love that you're really worthy of. So I'm excited to dive into this. This is something I work with my clients and my students on all the time, and so I wanted to address it in a video to you. So first off, let's look at what's the normal thing that most women do. Most women are constantly looking for Mr. Right, right? Constantly looking for the dream partner, and they're holding every partner that they meet or that they attract to that standard. Can you relate to that, right? I had a client who was a huge example of this. She put so much pressure on herself with every guy that she connected with that he had to be the one, right? And if he did the slightest thing, she would put all of his behavior under a microscope. And if he did one thing, if he didn't text her back quick enough, or if he demonstrated one behavior that she viewed as a red flag, she automatically would put walls up, she would get triggered, and she would push him away. Does that resonate with you? Have you ever done that before in your own life? And that's the thing. When we hold every person that we're dating that this person is either my dream partner or nothing, it creates a ton of pressure. And it's like we're on this messed up reality show, right? And there's an inherent thing where women will sabotage every potential relationship, including ones that could create a lot of value for them. So this is all about reframing, right? Reframing what dating is. This is not an outcome-based process where every person is either our future baby daddy or there's no reason for us to be spending time with us. Let's stop thinking of every person as that. And instead, let's look at every person as a potential teacher for us, right? The truth is that the journey to your dream partner is just that. It is a journey. It is an incremental process, right? And the more people we allow ourselves to experience and date, the better we get to know ourselves and the better we get to know what we really want. All right, so we learn so much from dating, and if we can just surrender to that process, right, and learn to just enjoy it, it helps us actually grow into the person we need to be in order to be ready for our dream partner. And I'm a living example of this, all right? I've dated a lot of people, and all of them were preparing me for my current relationship, which I am incredibly grateful for. So let's dive into those 3 reasons right now. All right, so the first reason you should date Mr. Wrong is that dating a variety of people actually helps give us a ton of clarity around what we really want. Right? So this can be broken down into 2 simple categories. The first thing is that when we date a lot of people, we get a really good idea of what it is that we do want in relationship. And we can get that idea, we can get that clarity from people who maybe aren't our dream partner. So maybe you date someone and he's not totally your physical type, right? Maybe he's a little pudgy for you, or maybe he's too tall, or he's not tall, or he's too short, or whatever. But he has a really good sense of humor. And you realize, wow, sense of humor is something that I really enjoy in a man. And that's something that I really didn't know before because the guys I dated were all really hot, but they weren't really funny. And so then that's something you can add to your vision of your dream partner, of your ideal partner. I want you to think of your vision for your ideal partner as like a mosaic, right? There's tons of little pieces in a mosaic, and together they form this beautiful image. And so every time you date someone, you're able to add another piece or maybe another handful of pieces to that mosaic, right? So maybe a guy he has a lot of other things that are deal breakers, but he's got an amazing sense of humor. He makes you laugh, and you're like, okay, I need to add that piece. I need to add that piece to my picture. And so, or maybe he's got an interest, right, that you find really fascinating, and he's able to teach you something about tennis, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, well, tennis is a sport that I never really got or understood before, but now it's something that I really love. It's something that I'm really passionate about too. So just know that, people that aren't your ideal partner can still help you see and understand stuff that you really want in your ideal partner. And then the other side of that is that Mr. Wrong can teach you a lot about contrast. And what is contrast? Contrast is those things that we know we don't want in our partner. Like maybe you go out with someone, you go out with them a handful of times, and you get an understanding or a sense that he has no appreciation for your boundaries. Like he asks you really personal, invasive questions. He's constantly like trying to be more physical with you than you're ready. He's not taking cues. And he's just not connected to the fact that you're trying to create boundaries with him or that you have personal space boundaries. So that's going to be something that you're going to understand, okay, well, I want my ideal partner to appreciate and celebrate and ask about and be invested in my boundaries, right? So it's very important to like recognize that your ideal relationship is going to be, your vision for that relationship is going to be comprised both of everything that you want in your partner, and then also the things that you don't want, right? And it's almost more important sometimes to know the things that you don't want in your partner. Like for example, in my last relationship, I dated someone that I was really excited about and that I really was pretty confident was my ideal partner for a while. And then I started to realize that she had major problems with emotional stability, right? That she wasn't really willing to be responsible for her own emotional state, and she was projecting and expressing her triggers onto me very aggressively, very aggressively and very combatively often. And I learned from that that contrast that, you know, I didn't want to be with someone who was constantly looking to make their feelings my problem. I wasn't willing to be with someone who was constantly willing to weaponize their feelings against me, right? And so that helped me understand what I didn't want and also what I did want, which was emotional stability, right? So if you're able to look at those and look at that, okay, well, what is this person telling me about what I do want and what I don't want? It's going to help you get much more clarity around your vision for your ideal partner, which is again going to help you attract them in a really quick and powerful way. Okay? And now the second reason you should date Mr. Wrong is that when we date someone who is challenging for us, right, in one way or another, it's a mirror for us that helps us look at our deep wounds and help to heal them. Okay? I've dated a lot of people up on the road, a lot of women on the road to my amazing partner that I currently have, right? And I found that a lot of my partners that I've dated in the past have all been giving me an opportunity to look at my resistance to owning my voice. Like my resistance to setting boundaries, my resistance to asking for what I need, you know, my resistance to confrontation. I mean, I grew up in a house where there wasn't a lot of direct confrontation in my family. Like my family had kind of a no confrontation rule between my parents. So I grew up not understanding that men and women sometimes fight, and confrontation is a part of being in a healthy relationship. So when I got into relationships growing up, I didn't understand. My first girlfriend was Italian, which was also setting me up for a lot of challenges, right? Because Italians tend to be very confrontive, right? And so my first girlfriend was very feisty, very confrontive, and I didn't know how to deal with that. I was like a deer in the headlights, right? So something that I've been continually invited into in all of my relationships is to accept and be open to confrontation and learn that constructive confrontation is actually an incredibly important part of being in relationship, right? So a lot of times, all the people that you date who are not your ideal partner, right? They're not your dream partner. They're not your future baby daddy, right? They are going to be teaching you things. They're going to be showing you what it is that you get to work on, what it is that you get to heal and grow in your own personal development, right? So I want you to look back at your past relationships. Look back at your past relationships and ask yourself, what patterns do you see? What patterns do you see? What triggers have come up for you again and again and again in relationship? Have you struggled setting boundaries with people? Have you struggled owning your voice? Right? What have been the triggers that have come up? Because that's an opportunity for you to look at what it is that you get to heal. And the only way to do that is by dating a variety of people and allowing yourself to experience Mr. Wrong. Because Mr. Wrong can be an incredibly valuable way for you to figure out what it is that you want to work on within yourself, okay? Now, the last and one of the most important things, one of the most important reasons you should date Mr. Wrong, right, is that practice makes perfect. Not actually perfect, right? Perfect doesn't exist, but practice makes progress. And when you allow yourself to date a variety of people, you allow yourself to be in relationship with people that maybe aren't your, forever person, they give you an opportunity to practice the different ways of being and the different skills that are going to be so important when you are in relationship with your dream partner, with your king, right? So in the example of my client, she got an opportunity to really own her voice and ask for what she needed for her partner. She got the opportunity to ask for what she needed physically from a partner. She got the opportunity to ask for what she needed in terms of communication, texting frequency, right? One of the things he was doing was he wasn't texting her on a regular basis. And sometimes when she would text him, he would wait a long amount of time before texting her back. And that would trigger her and bring up her insecurities. Can you relate to that? So she, and in her past relationships, she had never allowed herself to really have those conversations and to ask for what she needed because she didn't want to rock the boat with her past partners. So I invited her to step in and just ask him for what it is that she wanted, because really at the end of the day, what does it really matter? Like, this guy probably isn't her future life partner, but it's a great opportunity to practice. He's kind of a practice guy. So she did that, and lo and behold, what did he do? He listened. And he started honoring her needs in a different way. And now she's enjoying that relational container with him even more. So there's a lot of things that you can practice, right? And get reps in with a partner that, before you meet, your ideal partner. So one of the greatest things you can practice with your partner is presence. Presence. Allow yourself to just simply be present with the man in front of you. Right? Because a lot of women, when they're evaluating whether or not a man is their ideal partner or not, is he my future baby daddy or not, they're looking into the future, right? They're looking at him and they're seeing, does he fit into my box? Does he fit into my vision of the person I want to have a family with? And while I totally understand that, and I think everybody gets to have an incredible vision of what that looks like, right? If a woman is looking at me and I get the sense that all she is trying to evaluate if I fit into her criteria of her life partner, I don't feel like she's truly seeing me. I don't feel like she's truly being present with me in the moment, right? So being with a partner where, you're not really invested in what way the relationship goes, it's an opportunity to be truly present, because what the masculine is deeply craving from you at the deepest possible level is presence, is connection, is an opportunity to cultivate an experience with them that sets them free from the heaviness of their life, from all of their fixation on the future, from their fixation on their legacy, of what it is that they're creating, of all the stress and responsibilities of their life. One of the greatest gifts that the feminine can give the masculine is setting them free, is allowing them to feel just present and co-creating a beautiful, energetic, and emotional experience with them. I hope that makes sense, okay? Another awesome thing you can practice in your relationships with Mr. Wrong is detachment from outcome. Right? Because one of the biggest ways that we sabotage our relationships is by being attached to a certain outcome, right? When we do that, we start to force it, don't we? How many times, ladies, have you been with somebody and you start to get emotionally invested in them, and all of a sudden you get really invested in it working out with this person, and then what do? A lot of times women will become kind of masculine, right? If anything happens that they feel is threatening that connection, they might become forceful, they might become angry at the man, which then automatically, kills the polarity in the connection and the relationship, right? The instant that you become masculine, you start trying to force a man to do something or be something that he's not, or that he's not comfortable with, guess what? He is going to check out from that. He is not going to be into that. But if you can approach your connection with any man, right, whether he's Mr. Wrong or potentially Mr. Right, and you're just not attached to the outcome, you're demonstrating that you are high value. You're demonstrating that you are comfortable and grounded in who you are. And that's what's really matters, and that's what's really magnetic and powerful. And you can practice that with any guy that you meet, okay? Now, another wonderful thing that you can practice with Mr. Wrong is feminine embodiment. Right? Feminine embodiment. What do I mean by that? I mean being in your unique expression of feminine energy. And if you haven't looked at that, I invite you to go back. I have a lot of videos on that, and look at what is your own unique feminine energetic expression. Right? For a lot of women, this is being in a soft, surrendered, open, curious playful, sensual space, right? It's allowing yourself to drop that masculine wall that so many women have built up, understandably, because of past trauma, because of needing to survive in a man's world, right? Because that for a lot of women, right, being in your masculine is essential to be successful in business. And I get that. But what works for you in business, trust me, is not going to work for you in relationship. So allowing yourself to be in your own unique, authentic, feminine expression is going to make a huge difference in the way that you show up, right? And if you practice being in your feminine with Mr. Wrong, guess what? When Mr. Right comes along and the stakes are a little higher, you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable just being yourself. Because your authentic feminine expression, trust me, that is your unique, authentic expression. Okay. Another thing you can practice when you're in a relationship with Mr. Wrong that's very important, right, is boundaries. Boundaries and owning your voice, asking for what you want. Because a lot of times, this is something that's very challenging. It's very challenging for a lot of my clients and students, and honestly for me as well. It's something that I'm always working on. But practicing expressing boundaries in a loving, positive, feminine way is an incredibly valuable skill. It's a skill that will benefit you in all your relationships in your life, whether it be your friends, your family, and especially your romantic partners. So if you're with a guy, you're out with a guy on a first date or a second date, and he's starting to, maybe be a little too physically intimate with you, it's not something that you're really interested in at this stage of getting to know him, it's an opportunity for you to say, hey, I'm enjoying our time together, but I really prefer to take things slow. So I'd appreciate it if you just sort of slow down with me. And see, what you're doing when you're doing that is you're setting a positive, constructive boundary. You're making a positive invitation for him to take a different course of action. And that's a really valuable skill, right? That's going to help you in your connections and relationships with men. And if you do that with guys who are not your ideal partner, again, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do it with your best partner, with your partner that you actually do believe could have a potential to be your life partner. And one of the last things, that you can really practice in relationship with, anybody, the guys that are not your ideal partner, is playfulness. And as I said earlier, men have such a deep play drive. Men want to play. Every man has a little boy within him who is just desperately craving play, right? And one of the best ways that a man can play is in the relational container with the feminine. So being playful and unattached with a guy that you have very little investment in is it's going to be a lot of fun for you, and it's going to be a lot of fun for him, and it's an incredibly valuable and magnetic skill, because when a man feels like he can play with you, guess what? He's also going to begin to feel that he can be vulnerable with you. He's also going to feel that, you're someone that he can open up to. You're someone that he enjoys being around. And so this playfulness is something that will massively benefit you in all your relationships with men in your life, whether they be friends or romantic partners. And now I want to leave you with some final thoughts. First off, when it comes to dating Mr. Wrong, the first thing I want you to understand is that, guess what? There is no such thing as Mr. Wrong. Plot twist. Mr. Wrong is a judgment that we give to someone when they don't fit into our box of what it is that we think our ideal partner looks or feels like, all right? So the first thing I want you to do is to release that judgment. Release that judgment around Mr. Wrong, and instead look at everyone that you're connecting with, everyone that you're getting to know with curiosity. Look at them as a teacher. Look at them as someone that you want to learn from, right? How can this person that I'm connecting with, how can they help me grow? What can I practice with them? How can this help me move the needle towards becoming the person that I get to be in that ideal relationship, right? Because remember, every relationship that you have with someone else is going to be a mirror for your relationship with yourself, for where you're at. So if you want to be with your ideal partner, guess what? You get to be your ideal self. Real talk. And secondly, remember that every person that you're connecting with is adding pieces to that mosaic of what it is that you want in your relationship, right? Both the dark and the light parts of that mosaic are extremely important, right? So allow every person to add to your vision, every person that you've dated in the past. Go back and look at your past relationships and ask yourself, what things about my past partners do I want to have in my dream partner? What parts about in my past relationships do I not want in my dream partner, right? And always be building your clarity around what it is that you want in your dream partner, and that's going to help you attract them much faster. All right. And lastly, I want you to recognize that you have a very set amount of emotional and energetic bandwidth to be in relationship. That is just fundamental truth, right? So if anyone that you're seeing or dating isn't adding value, right? You're not having fun with them. They're not teaching you things. You're not getting an opportunity to practice valuable relationship skills with them. If it's just this stuck in autopilot, boring, stagnant thing, or even worse, it's painful or disruptive to you in your life in a way that's not helping you grow, guess what? Those guys get to go bye-bye, bye-bye, get them out, right? We don't have time for that. Nobody's got time for that, right? Your life and your time is way too precious and way too valuable. So do not be afraid to lovingly release those folks, those men who are not moving the needle for you in your connections and relationships. So get out there, have fun dating and connecting with a nice wide spectrum of men. But before you do that, be sure to hit that little subscribe button down below so you get recognized with all my videos. I'm going to be putting out new videos regularly and moving forward in the months ahead. Be sure to leave a comment. Leave a comment and let me know what resonated with you. What was your biggest aha moment from this video? I love hearing that, and any suggestions you have for other videos. And be sure to click that link in the comments and caption, because I've created some great training for you that's going to make a huge difference in your connections and relationships with men. But before you go, be sure to click on this next video, right? This next video is called 10 Signs That a Man is Emotionally Invested in You. It's one of my most popular videos, and it is going to give you so much clarity around whether a man is actually becoming emotionally engaged for you, is falling for you, or not. So if you want an amazing blueprint to be able to tell and identify if a man is falling for you, if he's opening his heart for you, this is an amazing video. So be sure to check out that video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye. So I hope that these help you decide and discern if a man in your life is emotionally invested in you or not, so that you can make the decisions that are in your best interest for your relationships, because you are worthy of powerful love with a man who is truly emotionally invested in falling in love with you.